Welcome back everyone, and prepare to be bedazzled because today I'm going to be shedding light on why action figure collectors quit buying action figures. So why do action figure collectors desist, abstain, and refrain from buying action figures? Why do they have an aversion to perpetually buying action figures? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much of my dismay, much of my consternation, much of my chagrin, much of my agony, much of my grief, and much of my distress, action figures command steep, staggering, hefty, exorbitant, lofty premium prices via the second-hand market. And action figure collectors are often pigeonholed, they're often siloed, they're often confined to buying action figures via the second-hand market. Retailers seldomly carry action figures that are deemed to be desirable. When they do get them in stock, they're often in scant quantities, and they often get immediately sold out. So it can be an owner's burden to be able to find even one or more desirable action figures via a retail store. And if you attempt to find them at retail stores, you're going to be expending a copious amount of time, energy, and effort in an earnest attempt to do so. It's a Brobdingnagian dispossession of your time to incessantly frequent retail stores in an earnest attempt to buy action figures which are inapt to be stocked when you arrive there. So it is problematic, it is a calamitous predicament that action figure collectors are at the mercy of scalpers. Scalpers control the entirety of the supply of action figures via the second-hand market, so you have to acquiesce to paying steep, staggering, exorbitant, lofty premium prices if you want to be able to buy desirable action figures that you're unable to procure at retail stores. And it is infuriating because action figures are already expensive enough at retail stores, and they're all the more cost prohibitive if you're buying them via the second-hand market in lieu of buying them at retail stores. So they're not produced in sufficient quantities, and when they are stocked at retail stores, the desirable ones summarily get sold out, which is severely problematic for the action figure collector, to say the least, because he has to resort to buying the action figures via the second-hand market if he wants to obtain them, and if he decides to forgo doing so, then it's a foregone opportunity. The action figure companies are inapt to reproduce sold-out action figures, even though there's all this pent-up demand for them. It does not make a modicum of sense, it does not make an iota of sense, but it is what it is. When they do their sales forecasts, they should be able to extrapolate that. They'll be able to more than likely meet their sales forecasts if they reproduce highly desirable action figures that were churned out in insufficient quantities. Especially if people are paying second-hand market prices for them that are 3% greater than their retail prices. Another reason why action figure collectors quit buying action figures is attributable to having a dearth of shelf space remaining. They may have scant shelf space remaining. Action figures take up real estate on your shelves, and it is vexing. It is irritating. It is agitating to lack the requisite real estate on your shelves to flaunt your action figures. If you cannot flaunt action figures on your shelves, if you cannot display them, then it detracts from the benefit of accumulating them. Action figure collectors yearn to be able to flaunt their prodigious action figure collection on their shelves. They want to be able to display the entirety of their action figure collections on their shelves. If they cannot display their action figures as an aggregate due to a lack of real estate on their shelves, then it's going to deter them, is going to disincentivize them to incessantly buy action figures. If action figures are relegated to totes, drawers, and are obscured, then is going to deter them to ceaselessly, incessantly, unremittingly, perpetually buy them. Another reason as to why action figure collectors quit buying action figures is attributable to the fact that they may want to save up financial resources to earmark into other areas. Maybe they want to collect video games. Maybe they want to collect collectible trading cards. Maybe they want to collect die-cast vehicles. There's so many other avenues in which their financial resources can be allocated. So they may divert financial resources away from buying action figures to buy other items. Another reason why action figure collectors quit buying action figures is because after buying them for a prolonged period of time, they may lose their luster, they may lose their novelty aspect from their perspective. Their interest in buying action figures may wane, it may taper off, it may fizzle out. Will their interest atrophy over time? It can potentially transpire. People's passions, interests are not immutable. They can change over time. So, if action figure companies continuously produce variants of the same characters, if the variants are just negligibly disparate from previously released action figures, if they're negligibly nuanced, then it may deter action figure collectors to continuously buy action figures. So, people's interests are subject to change over time. They are mutable. They're not immutable, to say the least. So, the reasons as to why action figure collectors quit buying action figures are indeed multitudinous, and also extend beyond the aforementioned reasons. An action figure collector can quit buying action figures at any juncture, at any reason. Is his decision warranted? Is it merited? Is it vindicated? Well, as long as he could rationalize doing so, and as long as it makes sense from his niche perspective, then it's more than likely going to be a decision that he implements. Even if his friends do not concur with his decision. He should not be ostracized from an action figure community, even if he no longer collects action figures. He should not be sequestered from an action figure community if he no longer collects action figures. Other people should still be amenable to socializing with him. If he is interested in maintaining his interpersonal relationships with action figure collectors who he formerly shopped with. I hope that you deem this video to be insightful, enthralling, mesmerizing, captivating, riveting, and engrossing. I hope that you were bedazzled, regaled, and intrigued. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.